Good morning. Good morning, great Master Master YongHua, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and the Great Assembly. Amitofo. Again, Master, please correct any mistakes that I would make, or I do make, so I don't mislead anybody here today. And I thought I would just talk a bit about bowing today. Bowing practice. Now, I assume everybody here, I guess, is familiar with the bowing, but I'll just, in case there's anybody, say, listening that's not sure what I'm talking about, just the full bows where we bow all the way to the ground with our forehead, our hands, and our knees all the way down on the ground or the bowing cushion. So my first introduction to bowing as a dharma is kind of more of a practice than just doing it, say, during ceremonies, because in the Zen practice, we always did bowing, or different places where I went to practice, we always did some bowing. But then to do it more as like really a dharma where you practice it more extensively, my introduction was through, I guess, my ex-girlfriend, who she would bow every morning. And she would do a whole lot of bowing. Sometimes she would do like 10,000 bows in a weekend. I don't know how she would manage to do that. Could never keep up with her. But they actually, like at CTTB, they do 10,000 bows in 3 weeks. But he would manage to do it in 3 days. Actually, she lived in Bakersfield for a while, and there's like nothing to do in Bakersfield. So I think she just bowed a lot. And when she moved out of that apartment, I think they charged her to replace the carpet because she bowed like a big dent in the carpet from just bowing all the time. But I don't think there's any need to bow that much or that fast as she does in order to get a lot of benefits from this dharma. In fact, sometimes, like according to Master, it may be valuable to really slow it down a bit more, the bowing. But before I continue any further with it, also I just would address, I guess everybody here may consider themselves Buddhist, I'm not totally sure, but this is supposed to be a Chan class. So there's this question of bowing seems kind of religious. Is it an appropriate thing to talk about in this setting of a Chan class? I should probably stop. Would you like to translate?
Thầy muốn nói về cái lạy là cái chuyện là cái lạy được học cái pháp lạy là tại trước có bạn gái lúc trước đó là thích lạy lắm. Cuối tuần là 3 ngày lại 10.000 cái lạy. Tại vì ở cái vùng Bakersfield, thành ra không có chuyện, không có chùa, không có gì làm hết á. Thành mỗi ngày lạy đến độ mà cái thảm nó mòn luôn. Khi mà dọn ra khỏi cái apartment đó, cái nhà cái mướn đó, thì người ta bồi thường cái phải thay cái thảm, tại cái thảm lại cái thảm nó mòn luôn. Thầy thắc mắc, thầy hỏi rằng là tại sao mà cái lớp thiền mà bàn về cái chuyện lạy một cái pháp lạy.
Okay, so I should. I forgot to mention the last point, which I just wanted to say about my ex-girlfriend, was that I was just always impressed with the sincerity with which she does this practice. I think virtually every single day. She's been doing it for many years in the morning. But so I was talking about Buddhists. So this is kind of like it seems like a religious thing to be bowing, but this is a Chan class, and we're doing the Chan meditation is supposed to also work in any context, not just religious or Buddhist context. So, but I think it's appropriate because the bowing, there's a lot of aspects to it, and you don't have to be Buddhist or view it as particularly Buddhist to do the bowing. So, go into a few other angles. For instance, the first level is just this very actually physical exercise that you get from doing the bowing practice. It's very good for your body, getting the qi flowing, which also happens during meditation. But I guess bowing is another thing that gets especially the qi up all the way circulating to the head. And I believe it's quite good for arthritis as well, for the joints. Just keeps things moving. It's good for strengthening the back as well. So it has a lot of physical benefits, and it's obviously kind of gets your blood flowing throughout the whole body. But beyond that, it's also the bowing is kind of a spiritual exercise, which I guess is practiced in different traditions as well. Kind of maybe Tai Chi or Qigong use the bowing, I believe. Let's see. The last point, I guess, on that level, as a spiritual exercise, it has a couple components. There's the sense of it's actually a preparation for meditation. It's very helpful to preparing you. I'll talk maybe more about a few points, and then beyond that, the bowing itself is a form of meditation, because we can be very single-minded and just do the bowing and not engage in our false thinking, just focus. The very sort of physical type of meditation where you're, as your body is moving, you just center your mind right there.
Cái lạy là một cái cách thể dục rất là tốt, nhất là cho những cái người mà lớn tuổi đó, nên lạy sẽ bớt cái phong thấp. Những người mà phong thấp mà đau, mấy cái khớp xương nó đau nhức nhiều đó, nên lạy thì nó sẽ bớt và từ từ nó sẽ hết luôn đó. Cái này rất hữu hiệu. Đây là một cái bí mật về cái Phật giáo mà những cái người mà là Ngài Tiến Hóa Ngài truyền cho chúng tôi biết. Ngoài ra cái lạy nó có là người trẻ thì cái lạy đó nó giúp cái cơ thể nó hoạt động, với là cái khí chuyển nó mạnh mẽ hơn. Nó còn có những cái lời về tâm linh như tập cái thành tâm, tập cái sự cung kính đối với những cái bậc hiền thánh, Phật, Bồ Tát. Rồi còn có một cái lời khác nữa là gì hả? Một cái lạy, một cái phương pháp thiền. Okay. Tại nó giúp quý vị chú tâm theo cái cử động mà lạy thôi.
So, let's see, I'll continue. Well, I thought I might address this sort of the sense of resistance to some people. I don't know, probably not people here, but some people may have some, resistance to this notion of bowing to the Buddhas, or, so what could be behind that? Well, we're not quite familiar with this tradition, or with the Buddhas, we don't know, are we bowing to this, is just the Buddha, this, historical, the figure, who died, 2,500 years ago. But of course, we talk about there's, Buddhas that are still present, or we're they're invisible beings, or beings we can't see, and so it starts to seem like we don't quite know what to believe, and should we be bowing. But I figure there's different ways we might be able to look at this bowing, so I'll just think about and present some of those ways.
I think you're going over time, because you're supposed to schedule the talk to about up to 5-10 minutes. You're way past it now.
Okay.
So learn to wrap it up, sure, or learn to be more, get to the point quicker. Because time is important, precious to people.
Sure.
So you look at the audience and see what is the interest level. Okay, and this is where the professional speakers would spend time talking to the audience before they start the speech, to get some ideas. All right, continue.
So, well, should I just kind of try to just wrap it up real quick?
You can continue. Next time, do it a little bit more, be more concise. But that's okay. We allow you to try to finish it. Looks like you prepare a lot, so
well,
don't want to break your heart.
Yeah, I prepared more in case, so I figured I would go ahead and finish it all. But I was planning to say maybe a couple other things. I was just going to say this. There's this notion that when we're bowing to the Buddhas, we can just think of, say, we're bowing to just to this, the most wise and compassionate being that we can imagine. We don't have to particularly conceive of it as a Buddha or use even that terminology, but it's just we're bowing to this sense of goodness and sort of raising up this, ultimately, something that we want to become or bring forth in ourselves as well. And then in doing that, well, let's see, I don't want to go into too many other things. So I'll just mention that as we bow like that, it's actually a dharma of repentance where we're really working to improve ourselves, to look at our own flaws and to not repeat those mistakes. Sort of making that vow as we bow down to this sort of the goodness in the universe, and doing this kind of repentance practice can be very helpful for sitting, because in sitting we deal with these karmic obstructions that come up and hinder us, or we have pain or whatnot. So when we do the bowing, it helps to alleviate and resolve some of those difficulties, so it can help us later than making progress in the sitting. So I guess I could stop there and then next time pick up. I wasn't planning to get into the actual talk about the sort of the form or the mechanics of bowing this time. Figured I didn't have time for that, so I can just pick that up next time, I guess.
Cái lạy là lạy Phật là một cái Phật là một cái đấng linh thiêng mà đạo đức tôn quý nhất, gọi là Thế Tôn đó, là cái thế giới là đều kính trọng và tôn trọng ngài. Thành ra mình lạy một cái đấng như vậy thì mình có một chuyện rất là tốt. Vì là cái lạy là một cái cách sám hối nữa, để mà vơi bớt những cái nghiệp của mình. Để tại khi quý vị thiền thì nó bị nhiều cái nghiệp, những cái chướng ngại nó cản trở cái sự thực hành của quý vị và cái sự tiến bộ của quý vị. Thành ra về một lạy là một cái phương pháp để sám hối, để bớt những cái chướng ngại đó. Alright. Any questions? Ai thắc mắc gì không? Who bows? Ai lại? Raise your hands. Who bows? Okay, you bow. Everyone bows. A few people don't bow, right? Why don't you bow? Tại sao không lại? Why don't you bow? Because it's not meditation. Không phải là thiền. Physically bowing. It's a regular bow. Every day, for example, when Josepha, you remember Josepha, when I started to teach her how to bow, she could bow only a few times. Because even though she's practiced Tai Chi and Qigong her entire life, for 20, 30 years, when we taught her how to bow, she could only bow a few times because she got dizzy. You remember that? This is the obstruction. Yeah, this is a lot of obstruction. This is not easy to bow. Thầy hỏi quý vị ai là người lạy, thì có một vài người giơ tay lên, có một số người không giơ tay lên. Thầy câu hỏi chính thầy muốn hỏi tới đó. Tại sao quý vị không lạy? Okay. Thì có một người đàn ông hỏi là lạy nghĩa là sao? Thì nó lạy có nghĩa là cái gì mỗi ngày lạy đều. Hỏi lại bao nhiêu thì nó tùy mỗi người. Chẳng như Đức Thầy có một người đệ tử mà đã luyện 20 năm tài chi với khí công. Ok. Mà khi mà thầy dạy cái bà cái phương pháp lạy thì bà lạy một lần lạy khoảng chừng được 5-6 lạy thôi. Tại sao như vậy? Tại lạy cái khoảng thứ 5 thứ 6 một cái lạy một tí thôi nó bắt đầu nó chóng mặt. Ok. Nó cho quý vị biết là cái chướng ngại nó lớn dễ sợ lắm. Lạy cũng không được. I repeat, the fact that people cannot bow is because they have many obstructions. Many obstructions. Obstructions. Obstructions meaning that impediments. You know impediments? Okay. What about what's another word for impediments, obstructions? Obstacles. Now you understand obstacles. Okay, there's the same mean the same thing. Okay, in Vietnamese called cản trở. Okay, Chinese mean Zhang Ai. Yeah, Zhang Ai. There you go. Close enough, right? You know Chinese or is it Korean?
Similar to Korean.
Okay. Vietnamese is similar too. Chướng ngại, Zhang Ai. I think that's what the Chinese learned it from. No, just kidding. Okay. So it is very, it's not easy. It's a dharma like Xian Jie just talked about. It's a method of practice. Then that people have difficulties, even like young people, especially older people. When you get older and you have your hips replaced and your knees replaced, it makes it much harder to bow. Okay, yes. It's challenging physically because it's very tough on your back. Cái lạy là không phải dễ đâu, tại vì cái chướng ngại nó lớn lắm. Câu hỏi là tại sao khó khăn chỗ nào? Thì nó khó khăn ở cái chỗ là về cái thân thể đó, nó cái lưng mình nó chịu không nổi. Nó rất tốt. It's very tough on your back. Okay. And your knees, okay, cái đầu gối, okay, and of course your forehead và cái trán. You know why? Because if you bow like you're a tough cookie, you bow on the cement. Every time you bow down, your forehead touches the cement and it hits the gravel, maybe a nail as well. Funny, huh? You think it's funny? Yeah, he asked Heng Sure, very well Heng Sure. He bowed outside. Okay? He bowed on the 3 steps, 1 bow pilgrimage from San Francisco, from Los Angeles to Ukiah, which is 2 hours north drive from San Francisco. It took him about 2.5 years. He bowed outside. Here you bow, you have bowing cushion. The bowing extreme that those people do, which a lot of people are doing now, a Vietnamese monk just finished bowing, and then there are a lot of Tibetan people who do bowing as well outside. And you know that? It's so difficult because you bow down. Okay, that some of the people, you see the Tibetans, you get in the internet, you see the Tibetans, they wear something on the forehead. You notice that? They wear something and they wear gloves and they wear those flooring knee pads, floors knee pad. Okay? Biết không? Cái lạy nó khó dễ sợ, lạy bên ngoài á, ở ngoài trời á, lạy lên sỏi trên đá. Cái lạy xuống thành không phải cái chân đầu gối và cái lưng nó khó chịu không, mà cái trán mình nó cũng khổ lắm. Tại cái trán mình á, mình đè xuống mình đụng cái sỏi một cái là cái trán mình nó chảy máu, nó tức là cái da chỗ nó mỏng lắm. Thành ra như thầy Hằng Thật á, Hòa thượng Hằng Thật á, lúc mà thầy còn trẻ thầy được lại tam bộ nhất bái từ cái Los Angeles lên San Francisco, Ukiah. Thì thầy lại ở ngoài đường như vậy đó. Thì lại 2 năm rưỡi trời lại mới xong cái hành trình như vậy. Hiện bây giờ có một cái vị đại đức người Việt Nam mới lại xong bên Việt Nam đó. Rồi khi vị nghe mấy người Tây Tạng trên internet người ta lại cũng nhiều lắm. Để mấy người ta lại, thầy để ý lại, ta lại với dạng nó băng găng tay nè. Okay. I noticed that Vietnamese monk he wears very thick gloves because it's very abrasive on your hand skins. Okay. Rồi and then người với internet mấy người ta mang một cái miếng vải ta che nó cái trán, đại trán nó biết cái da rất là mỏng, đụng một cái là mà chảy máu ngay lập tức. Nhiều khi lại đụng cái đinh cũng phiền lắm nè. So it is very difficult. So what happened is that YongHua, for example, he used none of those. His predecessors, his disciples, Master YongHua disciples before him also did a pilgrimage, bowing pilgrimage like that, from I believe San Francisco to Oregon. Okay, about the same distance as YongHua's bowing pilgrimage, but they use pads and they use knee pads and they use stuff. But YongHua used nothing, which is most remarkable. Cái mà quý vị lạy, có nhiều thầy khác đệ tử người Tiếng Hóa cũng lạy như để dùng đầu gối, cái bịt đầu gối với bịt tăng tay này nọ, nhưng đều ngài thật lại không có dùng gì hết. It is very very difficult. Trust me. Yeah, if you happen to bow on the bare pavement, okay, and you don't wear knee pads, your knees will be scuffed up pretty badly as well. Well, he bled initially. I can assure you of that. And if you do that, this is secret about these practices. This is fascinating. Hỏi là như vậy cái đầu gối nó bị chảy máu là không? Thầy nói đương nhiên chảy máu. Tại vì cái gì lạy mà đụng cái sỏi một cái là nó rách da là tức. Không cách nào mà rách được hết. Okay. Now, what happens is that when you bow, when you see gravel, you're not supposed to, clear it first, and then before you bow down, because it breaks up the movement, your bowing movement. So when you bow, you commit to bowing. That's it. You bow into knives, you bow into flames, you bow into gravel. Quý vị biết mỗi lần mà lạy như vậy là không phải lạy mà thấy mà sỏi đá là này nọ thì quẹt phủi cho nó sạch, không có đâu. Mình lạy thôi, rồi bất cứ chuyện gì mình lạy trên chỗ nào mà ráng mình chịu. Okay, you let go. Okay, so what's fascinating about these things is that YongHua is most remarkable. Because he could have done it like his predecessors. Thầy thật lúc mà thầy lại nó rất là hay, cái tinh thần rất là hay. Thầy cũng có thể làm như những vị học trò ngài đệ tử Tiến Hóa đó. Because Master YongHua would never force you to do anything. Tại ngài Tiến Hóa không bao giờ bắt vì làm cái gì hết đó. Okay, so if his pupil chose to use pads and gloves and put something on the forehead, it's no problem. Okay, but YongHua chose to do it without any protection. Ngài thật hay lắm, ngài chọn, không cần dùng cái gì hết. Okay, and what happened is that when you start doing that on the pavement, your forehead will have scars, will get scarred up. And then, because that's one of the issues, that's where the skin is thinnest, is your forehead. It's very sensitive too. It hurts. Okay. Yeah. And so you naturally get your skin will break. All 5 points: forehead, the hands, and the knees. Least of the hands, which are the hands, but most likely the knees and the forehead skin will break. Lạy nó khổ lắm, tại cái da trán nó mỏng lắm, thành ra cái vị lạy mà ngoài trời như vậy, đụng đá một cái, đụng mấy cái đá tròn tròn nhỏ nhỏ thôi á, nó chích vào da mình là da mình chảy máu ngay lập tức. Thành ra cái tay thường nó không có chảy máu, như là cái trán với là hai đầu gối thường bị trầy. See, you get scratches all over. And what happens is, okay, either you use pads, you say, okay, we stop, okay, until my skin heals. Trường hợp như vậy, quý vị biết sao? Thì quý vị có thể quyết định là ngừng lại, hoặc là mang cái đồ gì để cho nó không có chảy máu nữa. Or you use something so that it's before, until it stops healing, and you try again. Or you keep going. HongHua kept going. Okay? Thành ra mình nếu mà, and what happens if you don't use those pads and those protection things, you naturally, your skin continues to break and then and heal at the same time. Okay? You heal, the old stuff heals and the new stuff breaks out, and then so it's a mess. It's not a pretty sight. Unfortunately, I don't think they ever took pictures of him doing that, because we all have a good laugh and how funny a monk might look doing such silly practice. Okay. Thành ra đáng tiếc là không có chụp hình, có hình chắc quý vị thấy cái khổ công nó lớn lao. But it turns out, this is what happens. If you continue and you realize that every time you bow down, it hurts. Okay? Quý vị để ý chứ còn nếu mà quý vị tiếp tục lạy như vậy, mỗi lần lạy xuống như vậy, cái trán nó mới bị đau. Your knees hurt, your forehead hurts because it's being cut again. Okay? What happens is this. If you don't give up, oh no, you're crying? It hurts so much, it's just, oh, the knees? Oh, I thought it was my story. Oh, yuck. You're such a baby. I'm talking about how painful it is. You know, your knees are not even breathing and you're complaining already? You're such a wimp. Okay, now, this is what happened. This is the beauty of the practice. You pay attention. And if you pay attention, you're supposed to forget about the pain in the legs, like I do. Okay? Okay. If you continue, you don't give up. Quý vị biết không, nếu quý vị lúc mình lạy mà đau, biết rằng là mình lạy xuống như vậy là máu nó chảy tiếp và nó chợt tiếp, thì mình không ngừng. Here's what happens naturally. This is a beautiful thing that unless you do it, I'm telling you right now because I'm revealing a secret about bowing. This bowing secret. Thầy nói giảng cái này ra because HongHua didn't explain about it because it didn't become a big deal for him eventually. So I think he forgot about it. So he never talked about it anywhere in his journals. You read his journals, Randy? From cover to cover, I read everything. Long time ago. Read it once. Right? What happens is that you know you're going to bleed. Okay? So what happens is you naturally develop the ability to stop by the time you touch the ground so that you don't put virtually any weight on it. That's why your skin doesn't break anymore. Yeah, you stop just by the time you touch it, just like a caress. You don't put any weight on it. Yeah. Well, actually, what happens is you learn to put weight on. Eventually, over time, the skin thickens a little bit, and it's thick enough so that you put a little bit of weight on it when you bow. That's all you do. You develop the ability to be very light when you bow down and come up lightly. So it's like you're like a feather. You bow down and like a feather touching the ground. and then lifting up. Isn't it beautiful? You naturally develop that ability. Why? Because if you don't, you keep on bleeding to death. And it looks funny. You see that? You see how beautiful it is? Because you do that, people look at you like a bunch of weirdos already, right? Like a weirdo bowing on the street. What the heck are you doing? Why don't you take the bus? It's a lot cheaper, a lot faster. Right? In Greyhound, explain to you, Greyhound, where do you want to go? Can I buy you a ticket? Right? I know you're supposed to live poorly, so let me buy you a ticket. But, so you have all these motivations to take care, protect yourself, and then also make yourself not embarrass yourself, because people are watching you. You say, what is this fanatic, hurting himself? You can tell his forehead is bleeding and crazy. He keeps on bowing. These guys are fanatics. You're making yourself look bad. You're making your practice of Buddhism look bad. So you have all these motivations to bow like a feather. Okay? So YongHua told me personally, when I was a Shami there, he says, I bowed. He didn't explain what he went through. You see, I'm revealing all these secrets because these guys won't even teach you. And I will never find myself bowing again since I have status now. No, I'm kidding. So I have to tell you all these beautiful things, beautiful lessons that people are supposed to learn. When they're sincere, see the teachers, that they ask you to do something, they teach you, okay, go bow. If you sincerely follow instruction, did he say, your teacher, did he say when you go bow, you should wear pads? No, he doesn't. It's you who decide to wear pads. You decide to wear gloves. You decide to wear this. Master YongHua never told them. We never stopped them either. You see that? That's teaching. That's Mahayana teaching. You understand that? They don't force you to do anything. But they give you all the instructions already. Go bow. You understand that? How beautiful the instruction is? Go bow. For 12,000 miles, 1,200 miles. Cái lời dạy của tổ sư nó hay vậy đó. Tại vì quý vị thầy phải giảng cái pháp này, tại vì ngài người ta không có giảng quý vị. Cái là những cái bí mật, tại những người thầy dạy mà cho người học truyền với người học trò. Người ngài Tuyên Hóa nói, con lạy đi con lạy cái hành đi lạy đi. Thì ngài đâu có nói cái gì là con lạy mà dùng cái che đầu gối, che tay, che trán đâu. Mình tự động, mình quyết định, mình tự che tay, che gối, che trán. Ok? Nếu mình làm như vậy, ngài Tuyên Hóa không có cản cái gì. Tại sao? Tại quý vị tự chọn, không ép quý vị làm gì hết. Mà nếu làm theo cái lời cái ngài Tuyên Hóa dạy là rõ ràng, con đi lạy thôi, chỉ đi lạy thôi là tự động nó sẽ hiểu cái pháp. Thấy đặc biệt ta hay vậy sao? Con đi làm thôi. Cái nếu có lành cái thành, có cái lòng tin đó, thì đi làm tự động sẽ hiểu tại sao ông thầy mình biểu mình làm như vậy. You understand the good knowing advices instruction are very, very precise. He says, go bow. And if you trust him, if you believe him, you bear the difficulties that you experience when you're doing it. You quietly bear it. Okay? And you keep on bearing it and bearing it and bearing it. Okay? And you will naturally find a way to overcome it. Then you understand why. How you're supposed to bow. How you're supposed to sit. Does it make sense? This is the difference between the wise teacher and the unwise teacher. Cái này, cái vị biết không? Cái đặc biệt của cái người thầy mà giỏi như vậy đó, dạy cái vị một cái phương pháp, dạy hết tất cả, dạy một cái câu nói là đủ hết tất cả cái cách để mà làm rồi. Chỉ mình phát tâm, mình làm, thì tự động mình hiểu được cái pháp ông thầy mình đang truyền cái pháp gì. Ok? Cái sự khác biệt giữa cái người thiền trí thức với cái người thầy mà không có trí huệ như vậy đó. Người thầy không có trí huệ là dạy cái gì mà một cách mơ hồ. Còn ngài có thiền trí thức, người thiền trí thức chân chính dạy cái gì là ngồi xếp bằng, kiết già đi, chịu đau đi. Làm như vậy hết cơn đau thì hiểu tại sao. Thấy không? Giống như vậy mà nói con lạy đi, lạy mấy mặt trán nó chảy máu, ráng mà chịu. Ok, tiếp tục lạy sẽ hiểu cách để mà không chảy máu, cách để mà lạy đúng. Ok. All right, going back to the question. So who's bowing? Why aren't you bowing? Tại sao không có lạy? Why not? Yes, you people who are not bowing. Why aren't you bowing? What? What?
Can I go get that lunch offering?
Yeah.
Should I?
Yeah, you can go. Thank you.
Did you ever tell the story? I heard it on the internet. Did you ever hear the story when he was bowing the opposite to the sutra? He entered the state where he saw himself bowing on in that beach north of San Francisco off the Golden Gate. He saw, he smelled the seagulls and the salt air, and he entered this weird state. He said he could see himself bowing, and he was near the water. And it was like that for a while. Then he asked Master YongHua, what happened? And then he actually says, he said, forget it, your Dharma master didn't show up yet. And he had already made the vow that he was going to do 3 steps of one vow, but that was before Dharma master Chow showed up and left the home life and was going to be his Dharma protector for that. 3 steps of one vow. But he didn't know what happened. He told the story. He entered the state and he could see himself bowing almost at the end of the pilgrimage.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of interesting.
Trước khi mà lạy thì thầy thật là trong lúc mà lạy cái kinh Hoa Nghiêm á, bổn nhiên thấy mình lạy nơi biển, ngửi được mùi cái mùi biển, nghe cái sóng, nghe cái gió, thấy cái gió thổi. Tôi mới hỏi ngài Tuyên Hóa, đó là trước khi mà được cho phép đi đó thì ngài Tuyên Hóa nói là cái ông thầy kia chưa tới này, sau này phải đợi cái thầy hàng châu đó tới, hàng triều tới để mà ủng hộ cho thầy, làm hộ pháp cho thầy thì mới đi được. Ngài Tuyên Hóa biết trước luôn là con thấy trước vậy nên mình phải còn đợi cái thầy kia tới đã. Thầy sau khi thầy cái xuất gia rồi nên hai người mới cùng đi tam bộ Niết Bàn. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That's why the Koreans are so good in martial arts. This is the best exercise, is to bow. One of the best exercise, varna, is bowing. It's a secret. So actually, it tells me that Korean culture is very, very, very sophisticated. Okay, just like the Chinese, bowing is part of their culture too. So maybe it comes from Buddhism, I'm not sure. Okay, but bowing is one of the best form of physical exercise. Cô nói là bên Đại Hàn á là rất nhiều người lạy Phật, lạy này nọ. Thì thầy mới nói là cái đó về cái tôn giáo, cái văn hóa đó, tại cái đó là cho quý vị biết cái chiều sâu của cái văn hóa. Là giống như văn hóa người Hoa vậy, cái chuyện lạy chuyện rất thông thường. Chắc là cái ảnh hưởng của bên Phật giáo mình. Chứ lạy một cái thể dục mà nó hữu hiệu nhất mình cho thầy con. All right. Here's what happens. The reason I don't know about you, but at first I didn't like bowing myself because it bothers me. I think it was demeaning. Yes. You don't bow. You don't like to bow. People naturally don't like to bow. I can tell you I didn't like to bow. I hated it. I was forced to bow. I would bow down, and as a Shami, I was forced to bow 2 hours a day. I would bow down 1 bow. When the master is not, I bow 1 bow and I sleep for the entire hour. And I get up. And he said, "Did you bow today?" He said, "Yes, I did." I did it on purpose. I said, "I hate to bow. Yeah, and you can force me all you want. I'm going to do it because I'm supposed to. Since you don't give me exact details, I sleep."
What's amazing, Master, Catholicism doesn't make a big deal at all. We bow.
It depends on which sect. There's some sect, Catholic sect, where they emphasize bowing.
I never saw any at all.
Because you were involved in a different group. There are less popular Catholic groups, churches. They number in a handful in this country, several big churches, and they bow. Yeah, like when they become a priest, they bow down to God, right? That bowing there, that group that I'm aware of, they're very conservative. They bow. I mean, they stick to the ancient teachings. They refuse to adjust to the modern times. That group I forgot the names. I apologize, not because out of disrespect. It's just that my memory is not that good. They bow. As part of the practice is they bow. And you know what? This is a secret about their practice that unfortunately is not preserved anymore. The bowing, the new Catholics don't bow anymore. The modern Catholics don't bow anymore because they don't realize that bowing there reduces sexual desire. It reduces sexual desire. It makes you less full of yourself. Okay? It reduces your ego. In particular, it reduces sexual desire. This is why bowing is very important for the Catholic group. It turns out the Catholic group has the highest retention rate of the priests, ordained priests and fathers, than the rest of Catholicism. And that's the secret that they still practice over there. And I'm not sure they realize it's the secret practice, but for us Buddhists who understand a little bit more about the bowing Dharma, okay, we realize that it really helps. This is why the novice monks and nuns are taught to bow 2 hours a day. I never had that luxury, so now I'm beginning to understand. It's better late than never. Yes.
So the bowing reduces sexual desire because it's spiritual, or is it just you're giving the physical exercise to religion? Is it more spiritual?
I can't explain it. If you do it, it will naturally occur. There's no need to explain. I don't know how to explain it, to tell you the truth. Okay? It's a secret. Just like I tell you, cross your legs and go sit there and bear the pain. Don't complain. Okay? And what do people do? They don't cross your leg as soon as it hurts. Oh, this is too much. I'm going to bow. And then, so if you do what you follow instructions properly, you understand what? You don't follow instructions, tough luck. Okay? So there are a lot of secret practices, trust me, that the patriarchs, the wise people transmit to us. It's us who don't follow instructions. That's why the knowledge is lost. The experience is lost. It's just like the Catholic group I told you about. Okay, I saw the group of people there. They have humongous churches like a typical Catholic church, and they have a lot of male priests studying together, practicing together. Whereas a regular church, I've seen Catholic church and Christian church. I don't think you can have a lot of priests together like that. And they have all kinds of problems. Why? Because they practice bowing seriously, this conservative Catholic church group. They're very, very conservative. They do ceremonies the old way, the old language, not in English, very, very conservative. And I realized that it's the bowing that helped them reduce the sexual desire. Okay? All right. Any other questions? Ai thắc mắc gì khác không? And finally, one of the things that we recommend that you bow as well. Those of you who are not bowing, you should be bowing for two reasons. Number one, it creates a lot of blessings. Cuối cùng thầy cũng xin kết thúc bằng nói là chúng tôi khuyên cái vị lạy là tại sao? Tại vì ngoài những cái lý do trên vừa rồi, hai cái lý do quan trọng là thứ nhất á, nó tạo rất nhiều phước báo. It generates a lot of blessings. Okay? That's why, if the Koreans and the Chinese bow, those people bow, they bow to the Buddhas, even they don't know what the Buddha is. I don't, seen a Buddha before. And they do it because that's their tradition, their cultural, it's a culturally accepted thing, a desirable thing to do. It's the nature of blessing. You generate more and more blessings. Okay? Blessings, and you need blessings. Okay? So, it takes blessings to be able to follow instructions. Phải đủ phước mới nghe lời của thiện tri thức được. I give you an example. Okay? You notice that yesterday I talked to Robert and how receptive he was compared to 3-4 weeks ago. He listened. Yeah, he listened, he took it, and I said, I'm going to do something about it. Okay? Of course, I was a little bit melodramatic and so on. Okay? And doomsday sayer, talking about doomsday. But the point here is that you need blessings before you are able, you are willing to accept the instructions, follow instructions. Don't ever underestimate that. Before you can follow instructions, you must be receptive to it. You're receptive to it because you have the blessings to be receptive to it. That's the secret. That's the Buddhist secret. You understand that? The reason you're receptive to Chan because you have Chan blessings already. And hopefully next week when we have our potluck and you all invited, bring your friends and family. This is our early celebration of the Christmas and New Year's because we go after next Saturday into a 4-week Chan retreat where we meditate all day and therefore we miss celebrating Christmas and New Year's Eve. Okay? So that's why we have a feast next Saturday. Bring your family, bring your husband, bring your friends, and go and share, celebrate, with us. And plus, we'll be eating less during the meditation retreat, 4-week meditation retreat, mostly bland food. So there'll be a lot of suffering. So figure we might as well eat well for one day and not miss too much for the next 4 weeks. Yes. Okay, excellent. Okay, please tell your friends. You're all invited. Please, Randy, invite RJ and what's the other gentleman's name?
Ryan.
And Ryan, yeah, please. Okay? Next Saturday. Okay. Okay. Okay, so, where was I? Okay, yeah, you need the blessings to be receptive to the teaching. Okay, and that's why it's and bowing is one of the most convenient and easy way for you to continue to generate blessings. For example, when I first started to meditate, I was taught to bow. I didn't bow. I didn't like it. Why? People don't like to bow because of the big egos. Ego. Egotistical people do not like to bow. See? When I first started, to fool myself. Going down on the ground, come on, that's for dogs. Right? So you generate a lot of blessings. Why do you generate a lot of blessings? Because you're bowing and you're suppressing your ego, you're bowing someone who's better than you. Maybe God, maybe Vishnu, maybe the Buddha, maybe Bodhisattva. So you are expressing your respect and deference to a wise being or someone who's better than you. That is meritorious. Cái lời nó tạo phước là tại vì quý vị trong cái hành động như vậy nó giảm bớt cái ngã mà dằn được cái ngã như vậy để mà lại một cái người mà cao hơn mình, thượng đế hoặc là trời hoặc là Phật hoặc là Bồ Tát. Cái đó là một cái hành động rất có nhiều công đức, nó tạo phước đức rất là nhiều. And the other reason, as Xianqie mentioned earlier, is that bowing, like the example I told you about YongHua, that bowing is a form of meditation. You remember when I told you that he managed to bow down and become a feather? It's light as feather, up and down. It's the only way to stop yourself from bleeding, okay, from cutting yourself, okay. And that is meditation right there. Concentration, pure concentration, so that you barely touch the ground, you stop. You understand that? That's meditation. Quý vị biết không? Lại mà cái lý do thứ nhì thầy nói là hồi nãy thầy hiền giới nói là lại là một cái phương pháp luyện thiền. Tại sao vậy? Như cái chuyện ngài Hằng Thạch đó, thầy kể cho quý vị nghe đó. Nếu mà lại xuống giống như cái bông gòn đó, nó cần cái sự chú tâm, nó dễ sợ lắm. Cái sự nhất tâm nó tới được lại như cái bông gòn, như cái sợi lông vậy. Okay? That's meditation. That's chan. Cái đó là thiền. You understand? Bowing, you do it right, is a form of meditation. Chan is not limited to sitting. The chan we're teaching, when you only have an hour with you, we encourage you to sit. But actually chan is a much broader Dharma door than that. Quý vị tới đây là ngồi luyện thiền 1 tiếng đồng hồ, tại vì cái đó là cái phương pháp hữu hiệu nhất trong 1 tiếng đồng hồ. Còn cái thiền tông nó có nhiều cái pháp môn lắm, không phải chỉ ngồi thiền không. Okay? The chan we're teaching is very, very broad. Yes.
So when the programs go by, I'm not really exposed to bound programs much. I guess from opportunities.
Yeah. Well, if you're interested, you can ask to be taught how to bow.
Well, do you at least bowing on Sunday mornings, in the morning, regularly?
It's up to you. My late father, he would bow in the morning because he has severe arthritis. His joints are swollen and it hurts. Okay, so his own experience has been that when Master YongHua taught him how to bow, he was in his 60s. Okay, he had severe arthritis, and when he So he was taught to bow. He would bow every single morning, 300 bows. Every single morning. And he says it energized him. And then the arthritis pain went away.
Would you have any bowing during the 1 month retreat?
Bowing 1 month retreat, we don't have it because there's one excellent one the CTTB organizes. The City 10,000 Buddhas, they organize it during April. And they do it the Chinese way. They do it to the music, they chant and they bow. Each day they bow about 400 to 500 times, around 400 times a day, from 8 until 3 in the afternoon. Okay, so it's very easygoing bowing. At first it was not very popular. Now it's very popular. You find a few hundred people coming from all over the world to the City 10,000 Buddhists. Very popular Dharma. Like Han loved it. They went up there and they loved the bowing. They go there for a week. Okay. To me, eventually, when we have more branches and if we do, and more people, then we do the bowing Dharma. But right now, I think it's best you go up there. Okay. So we really don't have the means, the facility to do it, or the manpower to do it. Okay. Yes.
But tomorrow morning we are chanting, at least will show that people bow. So tomorrow do you chant and bow, or do you just chant?
Occasionally we do the repentance. For example, the water repentance, the Emperor Liang repentance, or the 10,000 Buddha repentance. All those are, or for example, we also have the Great Compassion repentance, the last weekend every month. That's a bowing repentance. We bow like 20 or 30 times during an hour and 40 minutes, and then we recite a mantra. That's a form of bowing repentance. Okay, that's a bowing Dharma. It's a mini bowing Dharma. Yes.
Well, just eat lunch and come back and bow another time before you go home. Well, it's wondering if there's a program here.
Yeah. No, we only have it once a month. That's it. But eventually we have the mini ones, like we do have, like do repentance, like a water repentance, or we can do a medicine Master Buddha bowing repentance on one day, one Sunday. You bow from morning till afternoon. The only problem is that I don't have the manpower. I keep on losing, and people, my trainees keep on running away from me, so I can't train them quickly enough. I don't know why. I thought I was such a nice person.
You have to lock the door, cannot.
Yeah, I know.
What that ankle, those monitors?
Yeah. I'm going to try that. Yeah, I look at Amazon and buy those anchor monitors. It's funny because you need about 5 people. Ideally 6 to 7 people, because you need 2 teams. Okay, but even for the one day bowing, we need about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 3 or 4 people to conduct the ceremony. And I started training them, and within months they start running away, so I'm not having very good luck. Maybe what I ought to do is put them to work, like cooking all day instead of cultivating. Then those people don't seem to run away. The people who work all day cooking and to sell food to make money for the temple. Here we meditate and we bow and all those things. Maybe it's too hard. You don't have to work here, and yet people still don't like it.
Did you train lay people to be a trainee?
Sure. Now, eventually, there are people who are interested. We need to learn to hit the drum and bell, and then the woodfish. Okay, so in fact, for smaller temples, the lay people hit the drum and bell and hit the woodfish, because usually in the small temples you only have one monk, and it's more reliable, and the rest of them come and go. And we might come to that pretty soon, given my track record. Yeah.
What's the name of the guy with big beard?
That's Quan Gong.
Oh, so if I was right, I was asking Shinzit,
Yeah.
and I said, he looks like the guy from Romance of Three Kingdoms.
Yes, that's him.
He's the one, right?
Yeah.
But the other one, who's the other one?
The other one is my friend. I mean, no, no. Yeah, there's a story behind. The other one is a bodhisattva who vowed. Yeah, his bodhisattva is what we rely on for protection during our chanchi, by the way. Or he's a protector of the temple. You don't realize it. The temples will receive a lot of protection. Now, the grounds, whatever is our property, is protected. Heavily protected, if you will. And there are different kinds of protection, low level to high level. Okay, low level meaning that actually they are out there, on the street, outside the fence, and kind of discourage the unwanted elements from sticking around like drug dealers. We used to have this area used to be pretty bad, like several years ago, 10 years ago. Okay, when I first came, this is a very bad neighborhood. You go around, you see how the houses have irons on their windows. You can tell. Okay? So when we came and the neighborhood incrementally improved, gradually improved, it's because we have protection. And they don't mix with the unwanted elements. So eventually unwanted elements say, no, this is not pleasant here anymore. It's not our area anymore. So they leave. It happens to a lot of Buddhist temples. So that's the low level protection where like soldiers out there, okay, they populate the area. Invisible soldiers, you will. Yeah, it's kind of far-fetched for you Caucasians, but for us Buddhists, it's, we know a lot of things more than going on than you think. Okay, so we have protection, and these two figures here are the higher level protection. Well, actually now they are helping us protect us from our enemies. Okay? Who cannot come here. When you come here, your enemies, the one harassing you right now, at home, cannot come here and misbehave. That's why you at home is not the same as here for that reason. You at home, your protection is not as good as here because the beings who harass you are not allowed to misbehave here in the temple grounds. If they misbehave, they're kicked out immediately. Okay? So anyway, so these are the higher level protections. And for example, during a chanchi, we rely on Weito. This is what I call my buddy to provide us protection and guard the Chan Hall, because that's his role. Okay, you think that it's easy to go out and have a meditation hall? It isn't. Before I go and teach meditation, I seal the area so that people can come and meditate. It's a lot more going on, you think. Okay, and I can't bring these people these pictures. Remember, Randy, we used to go to Lakewood and rent a rec area and teach meditation there? You don't realize how much work it is. We have to go seal it and set up the grounds. And then by the time we leave, our people leave with us as well. So we don't overtake or abuse our power. So we only use it when we're supposed to use it and we leave. So it has to be calmed down beforehand and then leave. So that's why a lot of why is it? It's because when we seal the area, then it's more makes your practice easier, helps you easier to concentrate. Because we're teaching concentration. So we need to go there and make sure we clear the area so that these troublemakers cannot come in and cause you trouble.
When you say seal, you're sort of chanting to get.
Yeah, we have several types of dharmas we use depending on the circumstances, and this is our role. Okay, That is, this is what we're supposed to do for you. It's more than simply, getting a place and then sit down and teach. It doesn't work like that. Okay? And you don't realize, it's another complication you don't realize is that it's only to the extent of the level of the Dharma host. Meaning that protection is proportional to the level of the Dharma that's being practiced. That's why we're very fortunate, because my Dharma comes from my teacher, Master YongHua. So I'm actually benefiting from the protection from his Dharma, protectors from his Dharma as well. Not just my own. See? That's why the source, the origin of your Dharma, of the method you learn is very, very important. Does it make sense to you? It has a brand name that the protectors recognize. Yeah. Yeah, the stamp, yes. The brand, yes.
Will you be giving a talk on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day?
Yes, every night we'll have a Dharma talk from 8:30 to 9:30 for 4 weeks. Okay? Dịch tiếng có cần dịch tiếng Việt không? Nghe có hiểu không? Không cần ha? Nghe được ha? Tốt ha? Sắp hết thì giờ rồi. I asked her if there's any need for translation in Vietnamese because it's 11:15 now. And we're a little bit late. We'll be a little behind schedule. We should go have lunch. Okay? All right. So thank you. And remember, next Saturday is we still have a chant class. And then Saturday night, starting at 9, we begin our chant chi. But we take next Saturday, let's have a chant class, last one for the year, and then we have a potluck. Okay? Được không? Mời quý vị tuần sau tới tham dự ha. Mình thiền một lớp thiền buổi sáng, nói pháp xong rồi. We may even, Randy, wonder you can ask Tex to come. I want him to talk about the Dharma talk in the morning. Tex Beaumont. Yeah, next Saturday. Because we want to invite him to the potluck as well, and then have him talk the Dharma talk. You know that I don't know if you noticed, but he's so much healthier now. It's incredible.
I haven't seen him. I hear him on the MP3 when you talk on Padre. I listen to it. In fact, I was going to mention on this lecture that since she should use the microphone because it doesn't record well.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Her voice is fine, but his is.
Yeah. He's using a microphone too. Okay. Yeah. But Texas has improved so much. It's incredible. It's like he's reversing his aging process even. And he's so much healthier now. So I'm hoping he can share with us what he does that works so well. And then maybe during the potluck, he can sing one of his songs. Yeah.
You can sell his anti-aging formula.
Yes. All right. So talk to him. Give him a call, and I will ask him again tomorrow when he shows up, just in case he shows up. He doesn't show up. Okay? It'll be cool. He sings very well. He performed for us on Vietnamese TV. He's very nice. He used to be a country singer, famous in the UK, very big, in the 60s or 70s I think. Yeah, he's a celebrity. That's why he doesn't participate in our Dharma assemblies. He only picks and chooses. He says, you guys. Okay? All right. Thank you. And let's go to lunch.